So, you know, and so while I was in college, I worked for this band called STS9, based out of Boulder, Sound Tribe Sector 9. I did this stuff for Bass Nectar, the DJ.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I worked on his tour in, gosh, I won't even know the year, probably like 2009. Anyways, that was with Seed 3 Presents, the company that puts on Austin City Limits. So I had these internships with bands and DJs, and then I did a little bit of work in Dallas with these helping book these venues. And music has basically been a huge passion of mine for my whole life. And it still is. It just, as an art form, and the photography, it's funny because photography is a lot newer to me in my life, but music is just like, makes sense to me, always, you know? So I knew I wanted to be in that industry, and I ended up with tour gigs. And we were, when I started there, it was like a 8-person company in a tiny 3rd room office on West 6th, like above all the bars. And we were filming tiny concerts at local bars, like bluegrass, kind of country shows, filming them with several cameras, making an edit and burning them onto DVDs, and hand making like cardboard cases and pressing them and you know, packaging them and selling them to nobody. Shortly thereafter, we started live streaming, and the company kind of took off. So then, like from that moment of like cutting and making these DVD cases to let's fast forward like 2 years, I had already been traveling with bands around the country, all these music festivals. You know, I went out to London and worked in Abbey Road Studios, where, you know, of course, where Studio 2, where Beatles recorded Abbey Road. Mexico, Jamaica, just all these incredible places. And because the company was so small, well, I became the marketing director, but because the company was so small, we all had to learn how to film these concerts, like everybody, you know, even the bosses. So they put a camera in my hands. My first time operating any sort of camera, video, film, digital, anything, was a Ryan Bingham concert at Green Hall. And have you been to Green Hall?
I mean, if I've ever been, it'd been years since I've been there.
Well, that place is incredible, but it's so old that the ground is like, the whole ground is wooden slats.
Yes.
And so everybody's in there like stomping and clapping to Ryan Bingham, and I'm on this camera on a tripod and the whole thing's shaking.
Oh, no.
I'm on a super long lens, so every little bump is picked up.
God.
And, you know, everyone's just like, it was chaotic, and I did horrible, but I fell in love like right away, you know, that first concert. But then anyways, like I was saying, 2 years later, all this experience under my belt, and I realized that, well, I started to realize that I know way more about photography, cinematography, you know, all that kind of stuff, composition, light, framing, everything, way more than I ever thought I would. Because for so long it was just like, oh, well, this is part of the job. But then it was kind of this like very sudden, like, aha moment where I realized, wait, I love this. This is what I like. The office, the Monday through Friday, and the marketing and helping produce these events, the payoff was being there live, like standing on stage, working with these bands, and legitimately having a position. The only people on the stage are these musicians and like me and a couple buddies. And that started, it would like blow my mind. I was like, this is incredible, you know?
Well, you're where the magic happens, and then you're capturing it.
Right in the middle of it all.
And you are responsible for telling the story, or showing that story to whoever's looking at the photographs. You know, that's a really special thing to do. Well,
it's funny you said telling the story too, because right around this same time when I realized this is what I was kind of in love with, we got this creative director, a photographer by the name of Danny Clinch. And Danny, as I've told you before, but Danny is the official Bonnaroo photographer, the official Grammys photographer. He's Bruce Springsteen's personal photographer. And I mean, you know, everybody in the music industry for 30 years he's photographed and just crushed it and shot on film a lot of the time. Such incredible style. And Danny is famous. Oh, and by the way, Danny studied under Annie Leibovitz. So that's another,
What?
I know, it's just like, it's really weird how this stuff kind of layers and weaves together.
So fashion photography is really kind of like, it gave birth to,
absolutely,
if you will, all these photographers.
Exactly. And has influenced so much.
They're like the great American storytellers.
Yeah.
Visually.